So it's officially the end of the year, and it's always a good time to take a look back and reflect on what happened this year, both the good stuff, the not so good stuff, and to see what lessons we can learn from next year. So I'm going to be reviewing my 2020 as an entrepreneur and also how things went for my company, and I'll talk about what lessons I have learned. So stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneur Weekly. My name is Isaac. I run an agri-tech company called Sesi Technologies, and I like to share the insights and experiences that I'm gathering along my entrepreneurship journey for other upcoming entrepreneurs. So if at any point you think that you like the content of this video, please consider subscribing. Also, you can use the time codes in the description to jump to different sections of the video. All right, so let's jump right into it. So at this point, it's needless to say that it's been a tough year that no one saw coming. Everybody's plans has been disrupted in one way or another, but yet we have shown as humans that we can be very resilient and we can quickly adapt to changing circumstances. And honestly, I feel really blessed that I still have a company to run, because I know a lot of people that went out of business and had to shut down because they couldn't afford to pay salaries. So that would be the first good thing that happened to me this year. Another good thing that happened to me this year is that I have learned to handle rejection better. And as an entrepreneur, you hear a lot of no's from your investors, from customers, from partners, etc. And at a point, the sheer volume of no's can overwhelm you and make you feel demoralized. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, you have to realize that it's all part of the process, and hopefully you can develop a tougher skin along the way. And I almost forgot this one. One of the biggest things that happened to me this year was being featured on Humans of New York. It was an incredible feeling to be recognized on a platform that is followed by more than 20 million people. And I had so many people reaching out to me from all over the world, sending me all of these nice messages and emails. And it really felt good that my story inspired a lot of people. And right after that, I got an email from an organization called the Shuttleworth Foundation, and they said I had received a flash grant of $5,000 out of the blue. I thought it was even a scam. Yeah, so that was really great. And yeah, on a lighter note, I finally started the YouTube channel that I'd been wanting to start for years. So yeah, for me personally, I think these were like the highlights of the good stuff that happened to me this year. So from the point of view of my company, I think we had some good breaks too. In spite of the fact that the pandemic affected business, we actually saw a 65% increase in revenue from last year, which is not what I was hoping for, but given the circumstances, that was very positive. And our team grew, and we added 6 people to the team, which meant that we had to move from the space that we were sharing with like 3 other startups into a bigger place that could accommodate the new size, as well as our production and storage and inventory and everything else. Also, another thing that happened to us, which was a good thing for us as a company this year, is that we're able to launch 2 new products, our GrainMate Grain Moisture Meter and our GrainMate app. We did a virtual launch, and I have put a link to the launch. You can go check it out. And we also started developing 3 other new products that we'll be launching next year. Also, we acquired a bunch of new equipment for our workshop, really, fancy tech stuff that will help us to easily prototype new products from next year. Most importantly, I found a lot of clarity on what we should be doing next year as a company. And it's making me really excited because we have a lot of nice plans for next year. So yeah, there are a few other things, but these are the things that I thought were the best highlights for 2020 for us as Sesi Technologies. Okay, so let's talk about the not so good stuff. This year there were a lot of professional and personal goals that I wanted to achieve, but I couldn't do so because of things I had no control over. I planned to do a lot of public speaking, and I had been booked to speak at quite a number of events in the US and other places, but obviously all of those either got cancelled or had to go virtual. And also I had to battle some health issues along the way, and sometimes looking at the lab reports made me very sad and depressed. I began to feel like, what's the point of pursuing all of these goals if I wasn't healthy enough to achieve them? But thankfully, I'm beginning to feel better now. So yeah, that's fine. So mainly that was it for me in terms of the stuff that didn't go so well. My company also had some bad times too. Fundraising was especially difficult this year, and from January to November, every single funding application we did got rejected. And some of the most painful ones were the ones that we came very close to getting and we lost out at the final stage. And even though our revenue increased by 65%, it was so far short from what we were actually hoping for. One of our goals this year was to expand our products into other countries, but because of COVID-19, it affected our partners, and then those deals failed and they didn't go through. We also had to put some of our projects that we're doing with our farmers on hold for similar reasons. But in all, I would say that even in spite of the pandemic, I think that my company had a good year and we're grateful for everything that has happened. So what lessons have I learned from this year? For me personally, the first lesson is that we're not in control of everything. And there's so much that happens to us that we have absolutely no control over. We make all of these plans and something happens and all of those plans go down the drain. Just a tiny virus comes and the whole world is panicking. And when you realize this, it actually makes you more humble. Another thing I've learned is that you have to keep going because some days are good, some days are not so good. Other days are bad, and that's just how it is. And next thing is that I've realized the importance of rest and not stressing, taking care of yourself. But sometimes when you have a lot of work to do, it's easy to forget. But then all of these hospital trips and these lab reports has really drove the message home to me, and I'm getting more sleep, I'm getting more rest. For my company, I think the biggest lesson is to make sure to never run out of cash and to have as much runway as you can. That can be very difficult for early stage startups, and I guess we're probably a bit lucky to have had enough money to go through the storm. And another thing I saw a lot, which is definitely a lesson for us, is being able to quickly adapt and pivot your business when you're facing hard times so that you can bring in more money to solve your cash flow issues in the short while. And that's another thing I learned. So the next thing for me is that we should always have more than one revenue stream, because if your business only makes money through one way, it means that if something happens to that revenue stream, then you are toast. So have more than one revenue stream. For me, the final lesson that I learned is actually a funny one, which is to make sure that you don't count your chickens before they are hatched. And we're actually in the process of applying for this funding. I was so confident we were going to get the money. I started making plans for the money even before the money came. And as you can already guess, we didn't get the money and I was really disappointed. So I told myself that unless money hits our account, I am not counting it as money that we have. All right, guys, so that is it. I hope you learned something from this. I don't know how 2021 is going to look like, but I really look forward to it, and I'm already excited. But before I go, I want to remind you of the Christmas giveaway that I announced in the last video. It's still running. As my way of saying thank you to you for your support, I am offering free one-on-one business consultancy for 3 lucky winners. And if you're selected, I will have a 1-hour call with you. I'm going to listen to your challenges that you're facing with your business, and I'll give you expert advice from my knowledge and my experience. All you need to do is tell me about your business, what challenge you're facing, and how you think that I can help. And I have put a link in the description, so click, fill out the form, and I will be announcing the winners in the next video.